Hi, my name's Debbie Pendergrast. I'm Business Development Manager here at Keencut. Thank you very much for sending in your testing material. I've received some ABS. This is 3/16 of an inch, so it's about 5mm in thickness. It's quite a hardened plastic, so it was quite interesting to test it and to see how it performs. I've tried and done some off-camera testing, but I've also had a look to see how it would perform on the Evolution 3 range, for example, and how it's been performing on the steel track. Now, with the steel track and with the Evolution 3, my idea was to possibly score it and snap it. And in some of the testing, it worked really well, but only on one side. So it's been slightly inconsistent. I wasn't able to perform any kind of really good score and snap on the Evolution 3 range. Now, I'm not quite sure if it's because on the Evolution 3, the blade that you are scoring with is actually a graphic blade, whereas on the steel track, it's a medium duty blade, which has a finer, more pointed tip, or whether it's the trajectory of the body. So either pushing down gives more weight into scoring the material, whereas pushing it along, you don't actually get that weight behind the movement itself. So I've discounted the Evolution 3 and any of the bench mounted cutters because I don't think it would perform A, very well, or B, consistently. The scoring and snapping on the steel track, as I've said, it did perform. Usually one side was very smooth and the other side was quite rough. It also performed very differently when the board was covered, this has a covering on it, to when the board was actually in its raw state. This has a film on it. I've tested the front where you cut the film first and then snap it, and the back where you go through the material and the film is left in place. Again, it's been a little bit inconsistent, so I also then tried the twin wheel, but I'll show you how it performs with the score and snapping on both boards, and then I'll show you how it performs with the twin wheels. It has the film on the face of it, so I'm going to score on the back, just placing it into the steel track and clamping it down. Disengage the ratchet, so with thumb pressure and a new blade, just pushing it in. I'm doing a few scores. It has quite a smooth offcut on one side, so as you can see the film is still here. This side is also pretty smooth, but the edge here has a lip on it, so this is quite rough, this part here, whereas the offcut is smoother. So that's the score and snap with the non-covered board. I'm now going to use the twin wheel cutters. So the twin wheels, excuse me, it's actually a scissor-like action. They're two wheels and they push through the material. So I'll just clamp the material back down. I will engage the twin wheel cutting head, make sure it's in place, and just taking it to the top of the material and pushing down, you can hear and see that it goes through the material really well, and it actually leaves quite a smooth finish. What we do have though is we end up here at the bottom of the material, we end up with this little pip on the offcut. So this is the piece that came off the board, and the reason we end up with this piece here is because when we get down to the bottom of the board, we have support on both sides that the board is together, and then as it gets to the bottom, there's no support at all, and the material just collapses away from each other, effectively tears. So we end up with this small pip. It can be removed, but that is consistent and will remain in place. So between the two actions, I would suggest definitely use the twin wheel cutter. The only problem with the twin wheel cutter is I don't know how long the wheels would last going through this type of hardened material. So that would need to be tested to have a look at. But bearing in mind that, I'll show you also how it performs on the covered board. So the board here is covered at the front, and we have the roll plasticky part back. I will score it first. So the same idea, disengage the ratchet, engage the scoring blade, push in, and a few scores. So the burring is a little bit more, but you definitely get a lip here. This is very rough, and this is the offcut. So there is a little bit of a lip. This is broken away. Back to the twin wheel. So engage the twin wheel, keep it firmly in place, push down all the way to the bottom. There's no burring. However, you do have this pip remaining at the bottom. I'm going to use the steel cutting head that we have as an accessory for the steel track, just out of curiosity to see what different wheels will actually do and how well it will perform. So I'm just going to change the cutting head. And in its place, put the steel cutting wheels. Engage the head, clamp it into place. It's a bit tougher to go through, and you get actually even more of a pronounced pip on the bottom. You can see it's just torn the material away, and you actually get a slight curve as well. It doesn't keep the board flat. So in all of the different methods, I personally would recommend a steel track and the standard C2 twin wheel cutting head. But again, I really don't know how long these wheels will last for the quantity of boards that are needing to be cut. And there is also the factor that there is a pip, very, very slight with this head, but there is the pip on the offcut of the material itself. Thank you very much.